Good evening, viewers. Hope you all are doing truly well and trying to stay as safe as possible as we all are completely unlocking ourselves and trying to get back to the new normal. But we, as usual, are here back on Tuesday with beauty, brains, and bravery, presenting to you their own successes. And we have a brilliant leadership consultant. She's been a leader and she is guiding more and more people to be good leaders. So we have uh, Lalna Zaveri with us today, and we're so happy to present her. But before that, as usual, I will give you a quick prelude of our our True Wealth initiative and the platform. True Wealth is an integrative healthcare initiative guiding patients and healthy individuals to overcome their health concerns and manage self health to reach the ultimate goal of holistic health and happiness. True Wealth aims to help you separate science from hype by sharing authentic knowledge and wisdom from healthcare and nutrition stalwarts so you can make the right health and nutrition choices. It also desires to unleash the therapeutic role and potential of nutrition in curing and preventing diseases of today, which even modern medicine is unable to partly or completely treat. Um, Having said that, we are putting up this live program so we can share more and more experiences, successes, information through this platform. However, please do not take any of the experiences that we are sharing or the knowledge or the suggestions we're making on this website as any sort of personalized consultation for what works for one, not only health, but also what we are doing through the beauty, brains, and bravery initiative. Not what works for one may not work for the other. But in case you need a personalized consultation, we are always available on 982004836 or you can visit our website www.truewealth.in. In today's program, if you want to make any comments or you have any questions, you can reach us on the same number, 982004836 or you can also type your comments into our live Facebook comment box where you might be seeing us right now. Also understand that we are not going to make any sort of COVID-19 or related treatment recommendations with this program. With that, I want to quickly tell you a little bit more about the beauty with brains and bravery concept that we are trying to drive. I mean, when you say these three words, need we say more is the question I've really put out here. It's really that there doesn't remain much to be asked or said. However, yet the purpose of this initiative is to encourage, enrich, and help empower women to aspire and excel professionally and personally. And this initiative really of ours wants to bring beauty, brains, and bravery together so that they can help each other contribute those three E's, that is encourage, enrich, and empower. Our mission, that's why, is to build a network of world's most sought after women professionals so they could share their knowledge, skills, experiences, opportunities, resources, dreams, aspirations, as well as their challenges, fears, shortcomings, requirements as they pursue a common goal of leading a richer, more fulfilling life. So that's really our mission. And the Beauty with Brains and Bravery live programs are an initiative in this direction by celebrating the successes of women professionals from the world to stir the ecosystem so that we have more and more Saraswatis, Lakshmis, and Nirbhayas in the world and in our neighborhood. And certainly so that when we say Saraswati, that is the depiction of knowledge, Lakshmi, which idolizes or which shows us wealth, and Nirbhayas or Durgas, who actually are the signs of power. If all of this come out together in large numbers, we will be able to make the world a much knowledgeable, intelligent, cognizant place with, of course, a lot of prosperity and without much fear of anything for that matter. Uh, Having said that, this is a topic which is extremely close to my heart, which is the reason I have been working on this initiative actively from 2013. And we are very happy that a lot of like minded women have come together and actually are helping me together to propagate this initiative. A couple of them I would definitely want to mention is one is Shilpa. She's not around here on this show today, but Shilpa Tikku has been my very big support. And we have Meenakshi Sapru today out here, who has been a huge support in taking this initiative forward in the right direction too. Before I introduce Meenakshi in a little bit, I first want to introduce today's celebrity personality who is actually going to share her success with us. And I'm sure we're going to learn so much from her. Um, Lalna Zaveri is, she's a leadership development consultant by profession, labor rights advocate, and women in senior leadership promoter by passion. So you can actually see that how her profession and passion are, meet together and do wonders in today's program. Serving on the governing boards of two organizations, not one, that is Printo, the company co-founded by her, and Cividec, labor rights NGO. Great achievements in itself, reaching to being one of the board of directors after being a great professional at all of those things. She like the resume out here says, she's serving on the IC boards of two IT organizations as well. She's done her graduation from Xavier's in science, of course, and she's an MBA degree from the University of Nottingham, and she has a diploma in CSR. She started a career as an assistant teacher at Akanksha Foundation, worked in Xerox as a market research analyst, leadership development consultant at Navgati, and she is now, of course, mentoring several people as a business mentor. She's been a business mentor with Sherry Lair Foundation for Women. So we can really see how much she has traversed as a professional, starting very modestly and reaching such great horizons. It's just amazing to have her today on the show. And I, of course, have Meenakshi Sapru, who would be co-hosting this program with me today. Meenakshi, of course, is head of sales at Huhtamaki PPL Limited, which is one of the leading packaging companies in the world. She's BE in printing engineering, MBS from Chetna College, which is a management course she has completed. She's also earlier worked as the DGM Reliance Retails, HP India as sales manager, Xerox, and Times of India. She's entrepreneurial by the nature, which is very, very avid. She's an experienced professional to set up business from concept selling to establishing market share with right strategy and leading teams for the right execution. Her core strength is key account management, sales, business development, brand building, business operations, and strategic tie-ups. So an amazing personality with me again to actually host this program. A little bit about me, I'll keep it very brief. Like most of you might know, I have founded, fortunately, three organizations. One of them is RSG Energy and Nutrition and Healthcare Private Limited, which is into effective nutrition products. True Wealth, where you people are watching us here today, is an actually integrative healthcare initiative. Also, I have founded a events company which works into the medical events, which is Medinext. Fortunately, I've also 20 years of global experience in business strategy and consulting, brand building, marketing, majorly into nutrition counseling and working on developing nutrition as a whole, as a concept to cure and also give happiness to people. I have a MSc degree also from the Sion Hospital, and I also have an MBA degree in marketing. And I have trotted again, worked with some of the accomplished companies in New York, in the USA, as well as in India. Networking, of course, is my passion, but I really feel very much dearly about this concept of beauty with brains and bravery, which is why I have spearheaded this whole concept. And very proudly, here I am with Lal Zaveri today. Meenakshi, it's such a pleasure that you facilitated bringing her to our show today. And really, Meenakshi, if you want to say a few words before we start, and then Lalna, we are very excited to hear from you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, audience, and the panelist here with me. It's pleasure always, Rashri, to be on this show. I think a couple of shows I was on the panel. It's been always enriching experience for me per se. Now, I am not wanting to actually introduce myself because you have done the honors. And trust me, Rashri, after you, handling podium is going to be very difficult. With your rich experience, what you have done as a personality, really lots to learn from you. Now, just before I give the show to Lalanas to take over. A few words about Lalana, which is really encouraging for all of us as an individual. Okay, because I know Lalana from, I think, Xerox days when she was working with me as an analyst, market analyst. A few things which it's really apt at this moment of time to understand for everybody. When Lalana was working as a market analyst for Xerox, I'm saying way back in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, it was an unknown field completely. Nobody knew what this means really. No, when I was actually closely seeing Lalana working on that profile, I always felt that what is she doing here? What does she want to do? Is this field having a career in the long term? But I never had the guts to ask her this question. Then later, when she moved on to start as an entrepreneur, as a printo, a fairly new concept. Trust me, Rashri, nobody in that time would know what actually a retail print would do, and such a organized retail print, which was definitely a risk-taking proposition. But uh, thanks to her guts, and I think she really believed in what she wanted to achieve, is a key message for everybody as a woman or a man, that whatever you feel and if you have a self belief, please go ahead with it. So she always, I used to see her as a confident lady. Whenever I used to come across with her as a confident lady, she knew what she wants to do in her life. So which is very important for any individual, whether it is men, it is women. Now you spoke about woman as a Lakshmi. You spoke a woman as so many roots of Mata. But
Yes.
what I really want to put forward is that whenever I see Lalana and I know of Lana, she really feels, I feel like she's a Durga for us. Okay, with so much of power to turn around things. Okay, uh, what's really difficult for me to understand when I'm actually after working for so many years in the marketplace, whenever you talk to any woman about power, they get scared of power because probably they're not comfortable with power, being a powerful woman. Why? Because they sometimes feel that, oh, am I pissing off people by being powerful? I think no, you are not pissing off people because you are deemed to be powerful. If you believe that yes, you can make a difference to this organization, please be powerful. Be vocal about what you want. And most of us as a woman feel that probably I'm going to make people unhappy by talking about something which is a men's world or men's topic. Please don't do that. I think Lalana is going to speak lots about it. Now, before I move to Lalana, so I want people to know here, our audience to know, that we are going to have a meaningful, insightful discussion about women and power today. Our esteemed panelist will focus on women leadership in the context of culture, power structures, different sources of power, and as well as how we go about changing at different stages in career. I'm sure you will walk away with the tangible, actionable advice for how can you navigate power structures. Over to you, Lalana. I think now you can do justice to this whole episode.
Allah, if
Thank
you
you.
want to say something to the viewers, we are really looking forward to.
Thank you. Thank you for this glowing introduction of me. And I really need to say something about Meenakshi, because I think when I first met Meenakshi, I really looked up to her as the example of leadership that I would want to follow. And Xerox was filled with powerful women, Meenakshi being one of them. My manager, Swati Patadia, was another very powerful woman. And I got to learn so much just by observing these women in action, just the way they dealt with everything, everyone from government offices to private large corporates, from everyone from the security guard to the CXO level person that they were interacting with, the poise, the language used, the subtle changes in how you address different types of people was just fascinating. And also to navigate internal paths through the company was just fascinating, because all these women really climbed up the corporate ladder and got to where they want to be. So while it was fascinating to hear Meenakshi talk about her first impression of me, I was really this tiny little cog in this massive wheel. And I learned a lot. So thank you, Meenakshi, for inviting me back to the show, really, to chat with you and to reconnect in many ways with what our history has been. So yes, that's what I would like to start with. Ratri, if there's anything
Yes.
specific you'd like me to continue with.
Well, there is lots, actually. To begin with, really, I mean, I'm very inquisitive because, when I presented your whole profile itself, you had such a modest beginning of your career, and it of course comes with the MBA which you did. So IQ per se, when we talk about, plays a big role. So if you would like to share with us, how was your upbringing, and how through this whole modest upbringing that you've had, you've climbed such huge ladders, and we can see the modesty even now in your talk, really. So if you would like to share anything from your upbringing as a woman, and as a successful professional, how did your upbringing sort of shape you?
Sure. Um, so yes, I was born in Bombay. I was one of two sisters. I have an older sister. I was born in a Gujarati household. So like any good Gujarati family, we had our own family business. And in fact, before I joined Xerox, I was working with my father for a couple of years, really, and my cousins and my uncles, whoever was in the business. And I think in terms of my upbringing, since you asked about that, I would say I had a very liberal upbringing. My parents just allowed us to do whatever we wanted, take whatever risks we wanted. Of course, you have to get through school with a certain grade, above average grade, as they called it. But beyond that, you're not expected to stand first or anything of the sort. In fact, I think scholarly people were looked down upon as nerds a little bit in my family, and it's better that you're industrious and you focus on being street smart rather than just too nerdy and too intellectual. So maybe on the IQ side, I've just always aimed for above average, and I've managed to achieve that, I would say. I think the focus has been on communication forever, for as long as I can remember. You should be able to talk to anyone from at any level, from any country, from any culture. So much so that I was culturally brought up to be agnostic. And what I mean by this is that I would not even be able to recognize, say, forget caste. Caste was out of the question, but even religion or what social status somebody comes from. I just had to communicate. I just had to, be at an equal level with whoever I was talking to. And in fact, I have a story to share from there, because when I was 16 years old and I was in 11th grade, I met a girl in my class, and we became really good friends. Her name is Tasneem. We are still friends. And for 3 years, it didn't even strike me that she is Muslim. Whereas a lot of us are brought up to be so culturally aware, not in a positive sense, not in that way, but for me, even the name Tasneem did not register in my mind as a Muslim name. And it didn't really matter one way or the other. We would hang out together, we were really great friends. It's only much later that suddenly I realized, oh, actually, she's Muslim. And again, it was just a passing thought. It's not like it sat down and did anything, changed anything in our relationship. But that's how I was brought up, to be completely culturally agnostic and hardworking. Don't be too intelligent. Be above average and communicate with everyone. If you have to learn a skill, it should be communication. Yeah. So that's pretty much my upbringing. I should add on a personal note that my family was also a little socially different. My parents are both atheists. So again, we haven't got any strong religious bent. And they got divorced when I was 11. So again, in a sense, we became like this outcast family. Not that we were treated badly, but it was, we were a different family. So it's all these things have definitely affected my upbringing, the way I think. And it's certainly very different from, say, the typical maybe Gujarati or even Indian thought process in many ways. Yeah. So yes, I hope that answers your question, Rajshri, on my upbringing.
So I see. I was about to say that this should have been the ideal upbringing any woman or a girl child should sort of have in our country or anywhere else in the world. And like you spoke about the religious outlook. Yeah, I mean, I have had a similar outlook. I mean, something very similar that you shared is I wouldn't know that my the friend of mine who sat next to me on my bench, what religion or what caste he ever belonged to. Yeah, of course, our school was like that, and the other thing is also our parents never sort of discriminated between any of it. So that's amazing. But having said that, you haven't had a very conventional childhood then, because of course your parents decided to stay away because whatever reasons they might have been, of course, right that they decided to be that way. But despite that fact, you've had a very ideal upbringing, I would say, as a girl, which I think we should say that you're fortunate about, and I believe you're spreading the same, of course, to the through your leadership programs that you run through. So I think. And I hope you're also taking the ideal womanhood torch ahead in that manner. Meenakshi, unless you want to add any inputs or ask her any questions.
Rashri, yes, I agree that upbringing plays a lot of role in how you shape up for future. Definitely, because that's the value system you carry forward from your parents, your mentors, your guardians. But I can see that there are exceptions also who didn't have upbringing, but they had the zeal, or they had that fire in their belly to do something different, what their parents probably or their guardians have not done. So we have some of the cases, like in my career, I've seen so many women who never were allowed to really move out of their house after 7 p.m. But now they are successful businesswomen. So it's, I think, yes, upbringing, yes, it is one of the main points rather, but I think it's what you want to do and what is your plan for your career or for yourself. So you need to have that mindset, you need to be focused, and you need to have ambition And you need to think that yes, I am here to make a difference to myself. So these are some things which I personally feel is also important for an individual.
Sure. So, one other thing, I mean, I would really want to ask Lalna to tell us, because you mentioned that, I also mentioned it in your profile that, what you're doing is also your passion area. So, how did you actually reach that? Because, you of course started as a teacher, and then you got into a professional domain, being a marketing, rather a market research analyst, and a road from there to leadership is quite a journey you've made, and I would say you're quite young to actually get up to there and then start shaping up more leaders. So if you would like to share the entire story with us, I'm sure it will be, as Meenakshi mentioned, we are going to learn a lot about how to get to these power positions and what is really the route to it, which today I know that a lot of women aspire for.
That's an interesting question, Ratri. And again, connecting with what Meenakshi also said, that yes, some people's paths are very arduous. Mine was pretty smooth. And part of my smooth path included that my parents gave me full freedom to pretty much try anything I wanted. So honestly, I did not have any focus or goal of becoming a leadership development consultant. The first teaching assignment at Akanksha was more a voluntary assignment. I was just volunteering at that organization. So I wouldn't consider it part of my career journey, but more as something that I tried out on the side. But I've tried many such things. It's very interesting because in one of my college summer vacations, I went and asked for a job at a neighboring garage, motor garage. So I was the first girl coming there and saying, "Can I work here?" And they said, "Sure. Please make sure you come tomorrow with some dirty clothes because you're going to get really dirty with handling all the different car parts." And I went and they made me do all sorts of things, clean carburetors, pull apart engines of cars, which would come in for servicing. I would get really greasy at the end of the day. They even tried to get me to change a tire, but I was really thin and puny at the time and I could barely even lift the tire. But I think all of these different experiences, working in a garage, trying to teach children in the NGO. I've also worked in a shop as a store assistant, actually helping customers and being at the cashier till. And so I've really tried pretty much everything. And as Steve Jobs said in one of his talks, in a commencement talk, that eventually the dots connect. And I didn't know when they were going to connect, honestly. And I wasn't really looking forward to them connecting, but everything, my job at Xerox, working in Xerox UK, starting my own business, working with my family business, everything eventually added up, added so much to experience that now I feel comfortable as a leadership development consultant, as a coach, as a trainer, to know that, yes, I would have experienced maybe at least 65 to 70% of what all my clients are experiencing themselves. Whether you're working in an MNC or working in a smaller company or working at a very low level or at a very high level, I feel like I've done all of it at some point or the other. And that has helped me build empathy with every type of person. And not only that, I've had some brilliant role models, including Meenakshi, right? People I've had a chance to observe. I've had some amazing women bosses. So in my journey towards leadership, I had the pleasure and the privilege of observing brilliant women bosses in action and actually learning from them. So I'd like to share two stories over here. One was my experience with this lady called Caroline in England. I was working in her store. As I told you, I was a shop assistant. I would be sweeping, swabbing, moving goods from the warehouse to the store, all sorts of things. And we had agreed on a rate, on a payment that she would pay me, which was an hourly rate. And at the end of the 2 months that I worked there, she paid me directly into my bank account. And it was higher than what we had agreed. She paid me more than what we had agreed. So I called her immediately and I said, I think there's a mistake here, and I don't know how to reverse this, but can you just tell me what I should do? And I was amazed at her generosity. She just said, no, I think you deserve it. I know we agreed on a rate before that, but I feel this is what you actually deserve. So I've decided to pay you this. And I think this is a big lesson for me about how leadership can be generous. It does not have to be process oriented. It does not have to be, okay, this is what we've decided. If I give you anything more, you're going to take advantage of me. And I learned a lot from this. Another story I have is with
Well, I think Lana, on that point, it's not only the generosity of the leader, but it's also the right assessment of the right person, I guess. It was you should really compliment yourself, because she chose to do that, and she probably had a very good analysis of you, and she knew, or she could read you as a great employee, or a great person she could actually rely more on, I guess. I mean, that's my guess at it.
Thank you, Rajshri, and thanks for reminding me of that. Yes,
Yeah.
I know I tend to downplay my role in it, but yes, I do
Lalina,
agree. Yes,
just
Meenakshi.
sorry, before you start again, an interesting thing and a key takeaway from what you said right now, for young people especially, I'm talking about youngsters who are coming up. What I liked about your whole story is one, that nowadays when you talk to youngster, they will do whatever you have asked them to do, so they will not go beyond their boundaries, okay, which they always feel that why should I do that, because I'm not getting paid for it, okay. So it's a key learning for all of the viewers here who are young, that just go beyond boundaries. It doesn't matter whether somebody is paying you for, but you get to learn a lot. Second thing which I really felt good about this story, Lalina, is that you did not mind doing all that work, which most of us have the baggage that why should I, after being an MBA or after being an engineer, why should I do that? So it doesn't really, because most of us also, as a youngster, feel that this is not my job. I'm not born to do this. I think you're born to do everything what makes you feel successful and what gives you a sense of achievement. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so true. The sense of achievement can be derived from even the smallest job done well. So absolutely, I think if we just learn to focus on sense of achievement rather than seeing what the world
Exactly.
looks at us as, yeah,
What's
I think
important is that achievement, the word achievement, which we normally tend to forget. We feel that no, we got to be CEO after 20 years, 25 years, but nobody understands really what does it take to be there. Okay, so you got to be doing everything. You got to know about the shop floor, you got to know about the market, you got to know about various things where you think that yes, what will it take for me to be successful or to be failure. So I think you have done everything. That's why you are there where you are right now.
thank you. Thanks both of you for reminding me of that. Yes,
Another
Rajshri,
add really to it is, these kind of jobs and these kind of profiles, while I've actually lived abroad and worked there, people there do, or even women there do this very, very much. And this is something which is in fact considered as to be totally wrong and unconventional in India, especially as a woman like you doing it, it would be like, she's gone nuts. I mean, what's wrong with her? Would be the thing, Most of us have probably run the conventional way, study, then go to college, and then, do your degrees, and then take up a basic, take up the best sort of, what do we say? We have these, right after our MBA, we do our summer placements and things like that. And then we pick up a job which is going to be maximum office job, or which is sort of going to take us up the route right away. We never try to build a lateral expertise, which you've really done it much, as Meenakshi said, much so much with not saying no to it, having the guts to do it. Incredible learning actually.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Rajnish. No, and it has been incredible learning. It's been a very enjoyable journey, and in
yeah,
fact, the way I had applied this learning, particularly with Caroline in Printo when I started my our own retail company, is that right in the beginning when we had just two or three stores. I would actually be at the store pretty much as possible. Like I would hardly ever be at an office. And I would be sweeping and swabbing the floor and cleaning the shelves and whatever our display is. And I remember a lot of my employees would come to me and say, "Ma'am, please don't do this. It doesn't look nice. If a customer walks in, it doesn't look nice." And there was one rule we had. Everyone wore the same uniform, whether you're a housekeeping staff or the CEO, everyone exactly the same Printo uniform. I loved it because I hated to have to wake up in the morning and decide what to wear. So for me, this uniform was brilliant. So my team members would say they'll think you are housekeeping. So, and I would say, what does it matter? Even if they think I'm housekeeping, as long as I'm doing my job well, and I'm not bringing down the reputation of the company, it shouldn't matter. And I want the store to be clean. Okay. So I'm not asking you to do it. Don't worry. Yeah. If you don't feel like doing it, don't worry at all, but don't stop me from doing it. And I could see the concern on their faces. But then a very interesting thing happened once. A customer walked in, and I was busy sweeping, swabbing, cleaning the shelves, etc. And that customer got his job done, etc. He was about to leave. He comes up to me and he says, "Are you the owner of this company?" So I got a little startled and I said, "I'm a co-founder, yes." And he says, "I can tell." So I said, "You can tell even while I'm sweeping and swabbing?" So he
yeah.
says, "Yes, because you have this energy that you own this place and that you really want to make it look good." So I realized that no matter what you're doing, really, it again connects to what Meenakshi was saying, that if you have that sense of achievement, that sense of belonging and ownership, it's going to show through.
Amazing. It's just superb to know, and you, the fact that you shared the comment made by your customer is amazing. It's just proof of the pudding, right? I mean that it's amazing to see your own efforts getting recognized in the right direction. Super. Please go on. I mean we are just having a good time listening to you.
Thank you. Yeah. No, so it was, I think, learned many lessons from watching my bosses and then applying it to my life as I go forward. And I have a lesson from Xerox as well. In fact, two, I would say. As I said, Xerox was filled with amazing women. My first boss was Swati Patadia, and she was a key accounts manager. And just watching her in action, just how driven she was, how ambitious she was, just would infuse energy into me, and I really wanted to be just like her. When I got to a senior position like hers, and she was young, and she was vibrant and fun as well. So she had this beautiful mix of everything. It wasn't just the fact that she was a go-getter, but she also knew how to enjoy herself. So that was something that I learned, and I also learned from her that you can be both. You can be strong, very independent of thought and spirit, but you can also be nurturing. And she really nurtured me. I could see how much she cared for me, how much she would be patient with me and explain things to me. So I really like that combination. And for me, that was a big takeaway into my leadership style as well. And one more lady in Xerox, and again, I have a story around this. Her name is Barbara Walmsley. And she was my manager when I was working in Xerox UK. And we were in charge of sending out launch and marketing material to all our DMO countries, as they were called at the time, developing market organization. And one day, one of my tasks was very simple. I just had to put brochures into envelopes and put a label, send them off by post. And as I started inserting the brochures, it's really cold in England, of course, at most times of the year. I started getting paper cuts. And slowly there was blood on the brochures and it was really bad. So I went up to Barbara and I said, Barbara, I'm going to continue this tomorrow. Today I'm going to stop doing this work because there's blood coming on the brochures and that would look bad. So she said, oh, yes, yes, of course, please stop. Just come in tomorrow morning and do it. Yeah, it can wait. So I said, thank you. And I said, tomorrow I'll wear gloves and come. So don't worry, I shall be able to finish this. I come in the next morning at 9 o'clock. I see all the brochures have been inserted into envelopes and kept neatly on my table. And I have a little note from Barbara which says, your skin is safe. And that's it. And I was just amazed. I thought, which boss is ever going to do something like this, right? Again, a big lesson that it's not going to make you look, nobody's going to take advantage of you through an act of kindness. People will only appreciate it and will want to do more for you. So I think that was another big lesson for me. From
Lalana, what I learned from this is most of us feel that if it was a male boss, just because he is male and he is opposite gender, that's why he is doing favors to you. So interesting for everybody us here is to know that it's actually people who make difference, not the gender. So thank you very much for bringing out that fact to us.
Well, that story actually gave, when you said that she said that your skin is safe, gave me goosebumps. So I guess that says it all. I mean, it did strike my emotion, not just so much of warmth, not just encouragement, but goes to the stage of so much of warmth. And why would you not want to perform when this is the kind of motivation that you get?
Absolutely. I think I would have bent over backwards and done anything for Barbara. She really elicited that kind of emotion in me. And yes, and that's the kind of boss I would want to be too. Somebody who encourages, somebody who goes beyond just work and looks at you as a human being. And really brings out the best in you. And I think lots of people, I know I've been talking a lot about women bosses, but I do believe, just like Meenakshi said, it's not whether it's a male boss or a female boss, it's really about the person, right? And exactly like Rajeshri, you said, the emotional connect that this creates is so huge that who would not want to do things for you once they discover this part of you? Yeah. So these are my stories with respect to the bosses that I've learned from. Of course, we've all had our share of bosses that we learn the opposite from, in the sense that we learn not to be like them. But I don't think, I think everyone has got some good to extract from them. So I'm not here to share any stories of where I had a bad boss at all. And there's no such thing as a bad boss. I really believe that. I feel, yes, there are bosses you don't get along with necessarily, but there's always something to learn from them. So moving on in my journey, I think I had the fortune of working with such amazing people. And as I went up my career, I also was very lucky, I would say, not in terms of the bosses I had, because like you said, Rajeshri, I think they are complementary. If you're good, you get good in return. And surely they also knew how to bring out the best in me. But other than that, I think there's just been some amazing opportunities that have come my way. I was fortunate enough to meet my husband, who is a serial entrepreneur. So he's like started ended and started again multiple businesses, gone into huge losses, come up again. And it's just crazy. And sometimes I actually sit thinking, oh my God, this is it. We are not going to be able to come out of this ever again. But somehow he manages to rise again. And to watch some of these role models in my life, even my father was like that. He once bought this hugely expensive machine, which we didn't even use for a single day. And, we had to come out of that as well. So yes, I've experienced a bunch of failures, not maybe directly something that I might have gone through, but it's happened around me. And I've realized that that's where bravery comes in, right? That you don't have to just go through a series of successes and show bravery. But when you go through failure, how you're able to come out is amazing. So yeah, so I think even recently, even now, we are going through very trying times with the economy, the whole COVID situation. And one decision that my husband made during this time is not to fire anyone. Yes, we had everyone's had to take a cut on their salaries, but nobody has to fear the insecurity of losing their job during these times. And it's a very difficult decision to take because you're not earning that much revenue. You know, where is the salary money going to come from? All of that, and yet. And I see how much he's struggling with keeping this going, how he has to raise money and he has to keep communicating with his team to keep them motivated. And it's definitely not easy. It's taking a toll on him. It's taking a toll on all of us. But again, I'm learning a lot from this. And I have to say, the learning is coming indirectly. It's not something that I'm going through myself. But it is huge learning nevertheless. Yeah. So most of my life has been that way, mostly learning from others. Maybe I'm not fully aware of what I have done myself. So when you talked about AQ, which is your adversity quotient, right?
Yeah.
And I keep believing that I haven't been through any adversity. But just today, I was talking to a friend, and he said to me, maybe because you still come out happy and joyous, you don't realize that you've been through adversity, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but everyone goes through adversity. Yeah.
Well, for us, we are working at a shop floor, which Meenakshi did, or you worked at the garage, or you worked at a place where you had cuts on your hands. So all this is adversity to a lot of people. So if you look at it, it's how you look. Which is the spectacular frame that you're looking at it through. It is that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to know that. But and I can identify with you when your husband is going through all those entrepreneurial challenges, which of course in my organization also we are going through. And firing or anyone from the organization is like letting your one person of your family go off.
Yeah,
So
horrible.
it's not happening. So but I'm sure on the longer route, I think all of these people are just going to come out to be more stronger in terms of relationships, and also in terms of how they come out of this entire big challenge that we all are facing right now. So having said that, I think we will come to your business mentoring and leadership mentoring that you do. I mean, is it going to be a lot different? Of course, you have to first tell us what you do in that, and then because these days, and sorry if I'm being critical, but I see a lot of people just waking up and saying that what, I'm a business coach, and being an entrepreneur and having worked at those leadership roles, when people come and start telling you that, I'm like, okay, you know what, you're going to be another one who's going to tell me this. But knowing you, and thankfully so through Meenakshi, knowing all that you've been doing, I'm sure it's such an illustrious role that you're playing. And what is it like? I mean, if you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. So yes, today I am now a corporate trainer as well as leadership development coach, and sometimes a life coach as well for some of my clients.
Sure.
So the way I reached this point was after I left Printo, and I left Printo because I believed that it needed to be taken forward by somebody other than me, and we found much better people than me who could take it to the next level. So I think the best thing I did for Printo was get out and let go at the right time. And after that, I was really wondering what I should be doing. And that's when I met a friend of mine, and he was my first coach, I would say. He talked to me, he helped me discover my strength. And he said, it's not easy to let go of something that you have started and then trust somebody to let it run and grow on its own. And so what you have within you is the ability to develop people and let them be to grow on their own. And you can use this skill better if you are in that field. So I really believe that I was meant to be in operations, even in another startup, perhaps. So after I left Printo, I was looking for jobs like that. But he helped me discover that perhaps leadership development is more what I should look at. First, it was people development at that time, not leadership development. And that's when he introduced me to Navgati, which is the company that I work for now. And Navgati are just experts in the field of leadership development. I know it sounds like I'm boasting about my own company, but we are very almost unknown. But I know that we meet international standards and above in terms of what we bring to the field of leadership development. So Navgati is one of the accredited organizations by the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. And we train coaches. So I have been through 250 hours of coach training myself. So I'm not one of the fly-by-night coaches who woke up one day and said, I can be a coach. Yeah. So I've gone through rigorous training. We do a lot of practice within our own team. And then very slowly, they sort of release me into the field to try with first junior managers and then more mid-level. And now today I coach very senior level managers, vice presidents, senior directors, or CXO level clients as well. I do have about 600 plus hours of coaching, as you saw in my profile. So yes, what has brought me here today is a journey that actually started almost 6 years ago, I would say. It's not been an overnight, position that I can claim for myself. And I would say I am probably 50% of the journey through. There's a long way to go. I've seen some amazing coaches in action, and I'm just sit there watching with my mouth open, thinking, "Wow, when am I ever going to get there?" Right? So I think we are all on a learning path. We're all slowly but surely getting to be better and better versions of ourselves. And for me, coaching is all about that. That's been, just helping people discover better versions of themselves, and in the process, develop myself as well. So that's been my journey to coaching today. That's how I've reached here today, and I still have a long way to go, very long way to go. But I really enjoy. I think this is truly my passion. I love just helping people discover parts of themselves that they didn't know existed, and how these parts can help them not only help them become better for themselves, but also affect everyone around them positively.
Oh, that's really nice to know. How to really get there. Listening to you, I am very tempted to do something like what you are doing, of course. But I have a long way to go even before I get there.
Rachi, you are doing a bit of what I'm doing, by the way. Through this particular show, it's definitely doing that. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I think that's the attempt, and I'm sure that is the reason why. I do have such great people like Meenakshi along with me, trying to take this ahead. It's not really a one man's job at all, a one woman's job also at all. But having said that, I think uh, while you're coaching these business people and the lead and people to become actually good leaders, Meenakshi, unless you want to add something.
Yeah, I definitely would like to add, Rajshri, because what I was actually trying to understand from Lalna's words, what she was talking of, is actually, it makes really true sense for me especially, is our belief in ourselves is important in shaping up all the important decisions. If you really understand Lalana's journey of being an employee in Xerox, then starting her own business, then being a partner and working in the garage. And so I think she has taken all different decisions at every moment of her life. Not because it was a forced decision, because she truly believed that her belief or her confidence of what makes sense for her to pursue is what made all the difference to her career and to be her as an individual, as a professional. So important for us, which we individually as a woman always feel under confident or don't feel confident, is I think mostly we lack in the self belief, that yes, I have that stem of confidence within me, which I have to explore and exploit rather, and be there what I want to be actually doing in some time. So that's what I clearly feel Lalana's journey is all about. Unless Rashi, you have something else to add to this.
Well, I'm still wanting to know quite a bit from her, but yeah, as you said, of course, it is very motivating for me as well. Like I said, very eagerly would want to pursue something what she is. But having said that, I guess business mentoring, you as a woman mentoring not only a set of women but also mentoring men. So where Meenakshi earlier said that we shy away from even power positions. Here you are actually guiding power people, to how to get to the power positions. But of course, using the power in the right sense. So how do you do that, and how is the experience as a woman to be guiding men through it? Though of course, we all believe that. There is nothing like a men and women thing. We are all two ends of or rather the two faces of the same coin, and we are equal. But what's the experience like? Because we know that socially, no matter how much we from within feel that we all are the same, our society is still not like that. I'm sure there might be a lot of people who might be saying no to you because you're a woman leader, or has it been the other way around?
It's a good question. Yeah. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I guess, I haven't got to know if somebody has said no to me because I'm a
Yeah.
woman. It might be because of qualifications or experience. But thankfully, nobody has been rude enough to say, I don't think I want you because you're a woman. And I guess in my head, I've never categorized myself as a
Correct.
woman.
Yes,
So even
absolutely.
when I project myself or talk about myself, the fact that I'm a woman is always, way back somewhere in my head. First comes my profession, my qualifications, and my ability, my skills, really. So thankfully, as I said, I haven't got to hear about anyone rejecting me because I'm a woman. And secondly, to come to the question about how it is to be a coach to men, and is it any different from, say, coaching women? And I think I've done an equal amount on both sides. Yeah.
Oh,
And I would say uh, the probably the challenge I face when I'm coaching men is really getting them to open up. And it's not because I'm a woman that they don't open up. It's because of the upbringing that men go through, which is that be stoic, be always put on this very strong face, and you're not allowed to show emotion, and you're not allowed to talk about deep within you what you're feeling. And so there's to just get to sort of the core of a man and see his challenges from that point of view, is it takes almost 3 to 4 coaching meetings just to get there, right? Whereas for women, we somehow, not all women, again, I don't want to make this too general. It's not like 100% of women open up in the first meeting and 100% of men don't. There are always exceptions to both sides. But when you finally get down to that core, I find that the issues and challenges are so common. There are men who lack confidence, who feel that they should not be questioning their seniors, who feel they should not ask for what they want, who feel sometimes that they're undeserving of where they've got to. And I see exactly the same challenges in women as well. Yeah. There are a few differences, as I said, in terms of how quickly they open up, and also how women tend to always consider themselves to be slightly second place. Not, again, when I say always, I don't mean 100% of women. I've come across some very confident women who've come for coaching with completely different challenges. But I do see some common themes of women underplaying themselves, not applying for promotions until they feel they're 100% ready for it. Whereas men will apply even if they're 20%, no, 20 is an exaggeration. I would say about 40% ready for a promotion. They'll just apply. If they get it, they get it. If they don't, it's okay. They'll apply another time. So I do find that men are okay dealing with rejection. They'll keep trying again. Women do feel a little put off by rejection, and then they feel, no, I'm not going to try until I'm absolutely ready and confident. But again, I'm going to say there are common things between the two, and there are some clear differences as well. But in my head, as a coach, whether I'm coaching a man or a woman, I will never go in with any kind of preconceived notion, thinking, oh, since this is a man, he will have these kind of problems, and since this is a woman, she will have these kind of problems. It would be disastrous if I did something like that. And so it's very important that I keep myself open to being very neutral as a coach and seeing whatever is the problem or issue that this person would like to bring to the table. I'm ready to handle it, and the gender doesn't matter. But yeah, so, and I think that has helped me not be categorized as a woman's coach only or a man's coach only, and I'm fairly able to deal with both sides.
That's really amazing, and you're being able to guide and coach both of them, and of course without any bias is of course important. But so having said that, what would you really advise to women? Because as Meenakshi said, even I agree that that we are always thinking, even while you said we are applying for a promotion, there's something else playing right behind our mind. It's like, will we be able to do it? Are we capable? Are the things? And then, will we be able to balance it with our home, house? What is it going to be like? Um, are there any specific advices to you that you can make to people like us? And I think, Meenakshi, you also can give a guidance on that front, because we all always hold up when we are trying to, pursue anything like that.
I have already spoken about it though. My piece of advice here, I will go with Lalana, is that what really matters is the success and the achievement. That's the utmost focus area for me, for personally, when I have to take any decision. As I said in my last webinar also, that when we as a woman are expected to be committed on all fronts, family front, social front, whatever it takes, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, why not as a professional also, why not on the office front also? And you need to decide what I need to do, okay, because it's you who is going to make the difference to everything, to your family, to your, so as a woman, it doesn't really mean that you got to be a woman or a man at the end of the day, but it's about you and your dreams. You got to know what you want to really pursue as a person. So if you are really headbent on what you want to achieve in life, I think it doesn't matter. Okay, so what it takes to be a successful person, it doesn't matter. So my piece of advice to all viewers here, that opportunities don't knock your door every time. Grab the opportunity whichever has come to you and do your best. That's my piece of advice here.
Well, Lalna, what do you want to say? Because Meenakshi is always straight to the point, and I love that when she says that, so many things are, you do the same with so many other things. What's wrong with you when it comes to work responsibilities are just as another set of our responsibilities. So, why are we trying to categorize it? And I agree with her, while we're taking a plunge into so many other things, what's stopping us really from, the work actually makes us more independent. So, if at all it's going to do, it's going to do only good. But specifically, I mean, though women would these days have started taking up professions for the reasons that, especially COVID has also taught us that, we need to have at least two people in the house working, so that, the risk gets sort of shared. But yet, leadership positions are still way too
Yeah.
far-fetched, I would say.
Yeah, that's for sure, Rajshri. And this topic always makes me a little despondent, a little sad, I have to say,
Hmm.
because while, again, I have had a very privileged upbringing, as I said. I was
Yeah.
allowed to do whatever I wanted, choose
Yeah.
my own husband, choose whether to have children or not. And I chose not to have children. So, I definitely kept one bit of responsibility out of my life completely. Nobody has questioned me for my decisions. And not everyone has it that easy, right? So even if there are women who may not necessarily uh, want to go through the regular life that has been planned for them by their parents or society, and yet they are bound to do so, right? So there is a famous double bind that they talk about that women go through, where not only are they expected to be the typical good housewives, mothers, wives, daughters, everything. So they are expected to do that as well. But they are also expected to do well professionally. Because in today's modern world, and like you said, during COVID times, you do need both those incomes coming in. But unfortunately, COVID times has also brought into sharp focus the huge inequality that exists in households
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
particular, between what a man is expected to do and what a woman is expected to do. And that is truly depressing, as I said, for me. Instead of the man stepping up to take over and also take his fair share of household duties, unfortunately, the woman is beginning to do not only her profession, but also take charge of household duties, right? Uh, the support system of house help or whatever we had earlier no longer is there, or it's not always
Yes.
accessible. It's touch
Yes.
and go. And that was a big support system. We are all discovering, right? That, oh my God, that
Right.
maid coming in
Right.
the morning just to clean up was such a load off my
Right.
mind. Um, and yes, I have to say, again, I don't want to generalize. There are many men I've heard of, and I do, again, have the privilege of interacting with all kinds of men and women. There are
Yeah.
many men who've really taken up this role of being an equal provider in the home in terms of helping out with doing home duties. And I'm sure you also know such men. But unfortunately, there are also those who are saying, you want me to bring the food to the table, the money into the bank account, then you do all the back end work and I'll do that bit, right? So what I've learned through interacting with so many thousands of people over the years is that I am no one to judge what priority a woman chooses, right? And here I'm focusing more on the women.
Right.
Actually, the men are in a worse position because that is sort of written down for them. You have to be the bread earner. If you're not that, then people will just totally look down upon you. With
Yeah.
women, we actually
Which
have a
isn't good
choice.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? At least here we have a bit of a choice, and if we come into a fairly liberal family,
Correct.
uh,
Correct.
they will actually support us to take whichever path we want. Yeah,
Right.
but yes, but I stopped judging women for the choice they make. I've met really amazingly intelligent professional women in corporate jobs who at a certain level decided, enough, now I'm going to go back home and look after my children because that's what I want to do for the next 5 years. Okay, and after 5 years I might come back, let's see. Okay. And earlier, I would get livid. I would think, what is wrong with you? Have some pride, woman. Stay with the job. Don't do this, right? Don't put your career on hold like this. But I, I have completely changed my outlook now and feel it's every individual's decision what they want to do at a given point. Yes, one can, as a coach, if I'm their coach, I will make them think, is this your decision truly? or is somebody else making you do this, right? And that's where guidance is very important. If it's not your decision, I am fully here to help you, uh, you know, slowly, very assertively take the conversation in a direction where you can finally go follow your path, the one that you want. All right. But first, let's figure out whether it's your decision really or somebody else's. And that is the key, I think, for most women to recognize whose decision is this, whose goal is it mine or is somebody else making me do this, right? And when I say somebody else, it could be society, it could be parents, it could be in-laws, it could be anyone. But sometimes we convince ourselves that no, this is what I want to do, and that's where you have to learn to see the difference.
Also, to
Oh,
Go ahead.
Meenakshi,
Yeah. Meenakshi, you have to unmute yourself.
what we need to realize here is, as a woman, if you're expected to be a leader at home, if you're expected to be leader at office, you're expected to be leader in the social life, so you got to lead the decisions or discussions at the. So as an individual, and key advice here to sum up with what you said is embody your leadership role. Identify the archetypes you feel comfortable with. Set aside the metaphor of being the captain at the helm of the ship. Okay, so what, and ask yourself every time, what is it that I want to embody as a leader? Is, if this thought process is clear, I think you won half the battle.
True. True. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's actually it's all about you. It's all about what you actually want to do,
Absolutely
what you're
right.
inclined to do. So that's the key message from my side, at least.
Well, I totally agree with you, Meenakshi, because it's how well we plan it. What I've seen, Lalna, also apart from the fact that you of course mentioned about the household chores, that because of which we most times see the imbalance. But I think a lot of times women are giving up because of the guilt that they really have looking after their children, and even while they're growing up, and most times. Focusing on their academics and bringing them up. That's where I think I've observed women giving up on their careers, because no matter whether they are able to even coach them, guide them academically, maybe the fathers are more educated in our country and are able to do it better. But at times there is no balance out there as well, and I think sometimes it's women's fault that they're actually taking the guilt to their mind so much, because it's actually a collective responsibility, and we have to decide when those years are actually going to become very, very important for our children. I mean, I as a businesswoman I have thought about it. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, when I decided to take a complete plunge into business, and every possible person was trying to tell me that don't do it, you won't be able to do it. I said, why will I not be able to do it? Because I'm a woman. I have so many other things and issues to take care of. Keeping all that aside, I took a plunge because I believed in myself. And I said, if I don't give it a shot, if I don't give it a try, if it's about karma, right? So what karma are you talking about? Karma is like is everywhere, like Meenakshi said. It's at home. It is also at work. If you don't do what you are come to this earth for, then what's the point? You have to fulfill it, and you have to give it your best try, best shot. You fail, and you can always get up later and then go back to it. But when you have the opportunities, like Meenakshi, you mentioned, opportunities come to you rarely, and when they come, you have to take them up. If that is the time to pick up that opportunity and make gold out of it, we need to work on it and then decide how our timelines can work with our children, how we can sort of balance our time. And at times I have realized there's no balance. It's like you're working all the hours. Right now I'm working 20 hours out of 24 hours, and people out there, and I'm like Lalla, you mentioned, all the chores of household are there, and everything is there, but I'm sure we all can give it our best shot and try to do as much best. And I feel that, when you're doing that, fortune also sort of supports you, follows you. Opportunities also start realizing that they have to knock your door, because people are seeing you, the kind of work you're doing, and they will want to come to you. So that's something which has been a very good learning for me, at least in the last few years of entrepreneurial journey as such. So I just wanted to share that.
No, that's amazing. That's a true
Yeah.
story of bravery, I would say.
Yeah.
Just falling down and still getting up and still being
Yes.
at it.
Yeah.
And I really respect what both of you are doing through this show, and to have to even taken the courage to say, okay, I'm going to put myself out there for the world to see, and I'm going to bring more and more women like me on the show. It's just amazing. Yeah. And we must understand that as women, a lot of us are fighting generations of social conditioning, right?
Right.
And while some of us might find it easy or have the support from people around us to break those barriers and break those shackles and shine through, nevertheless, not everyone has that privilege. So bravery really starts with what you were saying, Rajshri, which is fighting that feeling of guilt first. So
Yeah.
bravery starts within, really,
Yes. Really.
to say that I don't have to listen to all these voices around me or even inside me that are telling me this is not right, this is not right, this is not right, and I can still overcome that and follow the path that I want to follow. Yeah. And sure, bravery can be defined in so many different ways. Either leaving an abusive family and setting off on your own, or leaving a particular safe environment and really taking the risk to grow in your corporate career, or even perhaps leaving a very lucrative corporate position to look after your child. That can also be considered bravery. And I think it's really, as I said, finally a personal choice. And nobody should, women, we should not be judging other women, but we should really be supporting other women, as long as, again, they are and not imposed on them by somebody else, right? So again, I'm really, I feel really happy being here, hearing your stories as well, not just sharing bravery between among the two of you already, like immense bravery, and it's a very important message to pass to the world.
Well, it's been more than amazing being chatting with you, and I can tell you that the way we have conducted this session has not really sounded as an interview, but really sharing our small and big successes, and was such a good conversation and discussion between us. One of the shows, which of course Meenakshi, you and I will cherish a long way, that we are going to traverse with these kind of programs that we are going to keep
Absolutely.
conducting.
Absolutely, Rajshri.
Would
So,
you like to ask Lalana anything apart if you have missed anything?
I think she covered almost everything. So, in fact, when she was talking, I was wanting to ask her, but she invariably covered everything, whatever I wanted to
Yes.
ask her in her personal capacity or whatever she has practically found in her life. But it was a great, amazing discussion with you, Lalana. So, not only learned about your professional career, but how you dealt with every situation was very interesting, because what most of us again not gender biased men or women here, what most of us feel shy about is talk about your achievements, talk what you did on the shop floor,
Yes.
because most of us I
Yes.
think most of us, we all always like to talk about good things what we did in life. We feel shy to talk about the dirtiest possible event of our life, and especially on this live show. So which
Yes.
makes it amazing, Lalana. So thanks for sharing all the great stories and real stories with us. Interesting journey. And lastly, not to end here, because we're going to have many more shows like this. So I think we all need to be confident and shout out that I'm also there, which we all, irrespective of gender, we sometimes feel shy because we feel probably we are not worth it. It's no matter, it doesn't really matter whether he is really feeling that you are worth it, but shout out, because you got to have that inner confidence that yes, I can make difference. So that was very evident for whatever you said to us today, because whatever you did was purely and truly your self belief, your confidence, and your desire to do something different.
Yeah.
So, Lalna, have best of luck to you for your future endeavors, and we look forward to hear you quite soon with your new achievements. So, it would be interesting to know more what you did. Probably at this younger age, you achieving so much. It's really incredible.
We keep saying young age, but I don't know really know how old I am.
Well,
Yes. Well, we won't discuss age here, but it's not for public consumption.
Right.
but that was beautifully summed up by Meenakshi, really, as to what you brought to the table today out here, and what you have traveled and traversed through your modest beginning, and a great upbringing to up till here, dealing with a superb journey, making more leaders, and helping all of them live through their challenges. But I would let you really close the show with a few thoughts, which you think women should keep in mind through their journey to become leaders, and anything that you would also want to advise people through these difficult days of COVID, because I think that's a message for men, women, everyone. You know, we all are going to go through, all the type of leaders are going to go through. So if you would want to make some closing remarks, we would actually close the show on those.
I think you've said mostly everything that I'd like to say, and I'd just like to reiterate, yes, find that inner confidence in you, find that strength, find the bravery, tell your story. We all, like Meenakshi said, we all have stories to tell. Everyone has something that's made them what they are. And I think it would be lovely to hear almost everyone's story. And I'm so really impressed with the two of you enabling people to tell their stories in this public forum. So more power to both of you as well. And yes, I would really invite everyone to take some of that power and energy from you and express themselves as well through their confidence and bravery. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lalana.
Sure, and thank you, Meenakshi, for helping this program happen. And it's amazing to see you actually co-hosting this. And like the viewers will see in shortly, that you would be actually hosting most of these shows on your own as
Thank
well.
you,
And really
Meenakshi.
looking forward
Always pleasure.
to
Thank you.
it. Thank you again, and Lalla, it was such a pleasure to have you with us today. And we'll of course look forward to having you on more different kind of initiatives and shows we would be conducting. You stay safe, and absolutely wishing you super good luck. And I will close the session with a small. Advertorial of course, the Energia Group, who has been continuously, relentlessly, back-endly supporting us on our initiatives, right from, spreading the word, designing credentials, etc., for our programs.